Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Shorts, we are going to be predicting and kind of giving you a 5-minute situation where we talk about the 2024 Hockey Hall of Fame class. Now, the people that are going to be a part of it has been announced, and this is just going to be my perspective and really on who I see being in the 2024 International Ice Hockey Hall of Fame. And the first player that I do want to talk about is Pavel Datsyuk. Pavel Datsyuk, he was an elite player for the Detroit Red Wings back in the day, won cups with Detroit in the mid-2000s, and his skating ability, the way that he was great in shootouts, and the way he was just a natural scorer. I mean, there was somebody, when it comes to handles, Pavel Datsyuk was one of the best to ever do it when it came to skating around and actually shooting the puck and from certain angles and certain perspectives. So Pavel Datsyuk, I would put him as my number one when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Secondly, I'm a huge fan of defensemen, so Sergei Gonchar would be on my list of people in the 2024 Hall of Fame class. What he did throughout his entire career and what he achieved in his time span in the NHL should get him into Toronto, should get him that sweater and that Hall of Fame speech in November. But yeah, Pavel Datsyuk, Sergei Gonchar, and then I also want to mention Alexander Mogilny. This is someone who was revolutionary, someone who changed the game forever. And when he went over to the Buffalo Sabres, he came over from Russia. That was a major deal at the time. And, to me, it's just a huge role of what he did in the late 80s, early 90s, how successful he was once he came over to the United States into the NHL. So Alexander Mogilny, Pavel Datsyuk, Sergei Gonchar, and then I have two left. Okay, I have two more left on my list. I'm only going to have 5 here. The fourth one that I'm going to say when it comes to predicting the 2024 Hockey Hall of Fame class, I'm going to go over to the goaltenders and talk about Buffalo Sabres legend Ryan Miller. I mean, people had to be there, okay? You had to see what Ryan Miller was doing in the mid to late 2000s for the Buffalo Sabres. He was playing on his head every single night. He was one of the last great goaltenders in the NHL that really could make a team make or break with just him alone. So Ryan Miller did an excellent job with the Buffalo Sabres that eventually moved on. He had Vancouver, St. Louis, Anaheim, made small cups of coffees there, retired recently. So I have to give Ryan Miller some praise. I think that he will be a Hall of Famer at some point. I will be predicting it now. And then the last player at number 5, this is a guy who really has been a household name, regardless of where he was playing, if it's in the NHL or the KHL or wherever he plays, and that's Ilya Kovalchuk. I mean, Ilya Kovalchuk is someone who he was playing with the Atlanta Thrashers, one of the only good players to ever come from the Atlanta Thrashers franchise history. I mean, there's only like 5 or 6 really good players who have come from the Atlanta Thrashers, and Ilya Kovalchuk was definitely one of those guys that was a big part of it. You also had his move over to New Jersey, the blockbuster trade to happen there, then the free agent signing that eventually would be controversial when he moved back to Russia and started playing in the KHL, and then his return to the NHL for a couple of seasons before moving back to Russia, where he's playing in the KHL right now today. So when it comes to predicting the Hall of Fame class here on Vegas Hockey Hub Shorts, these are our 5-minute videos where we just try to talk about the rest of the hockey world, not just the Vegas Golden Knights, Henderson Silver Knights, and UNLV Rebels hockey. So my ballot for the Hall of Fame class, the 5 picks that I will be doing. Number 1 is going to be Pavel Datsyuk. Number 2, Sergei Gonchar. Number 3, Alexander Mogilny. Number 4, Ryan Miller. And number 5, Ilya Kovalchuk. So that is my Hall of Fame bracket. There's my Hall of Fame ballot predicting the 2024 Hall of Fame class that will be taking place in November. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. This is Vegas Hockey Hub. Have a good one.